For 7 months, Daniel Carter walked past the same woman every morning, and pretended she didn't exist. It wasn't because she wasn't noticeable. Actually, Emily Lawson was impossible to ignore. She lived in the small blue house next door, always watering her flowers, always smiling as Daniel hurried his 5-year-old daughter Lily into the car. But Daniel never returned the smile. After his wife passed away 2 years earlier, life had become a routine of survival. Wake up. Make Lily breakfast. Work. Come home exhausted. Repeat. There was no room in his heart for small talk, or new people. Still, Emily tried. "Good morning," she'd call cheerfully. Daniel would nod politely, eyes already on his phone. Weeks turned into months. Emily waved while collecting her mail. Daniel walked straight inside. She baked cookies once and left them at his door with a note. "For Lily. Welcome to the neighborhood." Daniel thanked her quickly but kept the conversation short. It wasn't that he disliked her. In fact, her kindness made him uncomfortable. It reminded him of a life that once felt warm, a life he wasn't sure he deserved anymore. Then one quiet Saturday morning, something unexpected happened. Daniel was fixing Lily's bike in the driveway when Emily walked over. But this time, she didn't just wave. She stopped right in front of him, holding 2 coffee cups. Her voice was calm but determined. "Daniel," she said with a gentle smile, "you've ignored me for 7 months." He froze. Then she handed him a cup and added softly, "So, will you finally have coffee with me?" Daniel stared at the coffee cup in Emily's hand as if it were some kind of test he hadn't prepared for. For a moment he didn't move. Lily sat on the driveway beside her small bicycle, watching curiously. The morning sun warmed the quiet neighborhood, and the scent of fresh coffee drifted through the air. Emily didn't rush him. She simply stood there, patient, her soft smile never fading. Finally, Daniel sighed and wiped his hands on a cloth. "Okay," he muttered. 5 minutes. Emily's smile widened just a little as she handed him the cup. 5 minutes is a good start. They sat on the wooden steps of Daniel's porch. For a while, neither of them spoke. Lily rode her bike in small circles nearby, giggling each time she managed to stay balanced a little longer. Daniel took a careful sip of the coffee. It was surprisingly good. "You make great coffee," he admitted quietly. Emily chuckled. "That's the first nice thing you've said to me in 7 months." Daniel felt a little embarrassed. "I didn't mean to ignore you," he said. "Life's just been complicated." Emily nodded gently, as if she already understood. "I know." That surprised him. "You do? I see you every morning," she said softly. "You wake up early, make Lily breakfast, pack her bag, rush to work, come back late, and still read her bedtime stories on the porch." Daniel blinked. "You noticed all that?" Emily looked down at her coffee cup. "It's hard not to notice someone who's trying so hard." For the first time in a long while, Daniel felt something shift inside his chest. Not pain. Not grief. Something warmer. And for the first time in 7 months, he didn't feel like walking away. For the first time in months, Daniel didn't rush inside after finishing his coffee. Instead, he stayed on the porch. Lily was still riding her bike in small, wobbly circles across the driveway. Each time she managed to go a little farther without falling, she cheered for herself. Emily watched her with a soft smile. "She's brave," Emily said. Daniel nodded. "Her mom used to say that." The moment the words left his mouth, the air grew quieter. Daniel rarely spoke about his late wife. Most people didn't ask, and he preferred it that way. But Emily didn't look uncomfortable or change the subject. She simply listened. "She would have loved Lily's determination," Emily said gently. Daniel looked at her, surprised again. "You talk like you knew her." Emily shook her head slowly. "I didn't. But I know love when I see it." Daniel leaned back against the porch railing, thinking. For 2 years, he had built invisible walls around his life. Work, parenting, responsibilities, that was all he allowed himself to focus on. It felt safer that way. No expectations. No heartbreak. But Emily had somehow slipped past those walls just by being kind. Lily suddenly rode past them, laughing. "Dad! Did you see that? I didn't fall!" Daniel clapped proudly. "I saw, kiddo!" Emily clapped too. Lily stopped her bike and looked at Emily curiously. "Are you Dad's friend?" Daniel froze slightly at the question. Emily glanced at him, then smiled warmly at Lily. "Well, I'm trying to be." Lily nodded as if that answer made perfect sense. "Good," she said happily. "Dad needs friends." Daniel couldn't help but laugh softly. And for the first time in a very long time, the quiet house next door didn't feel like a stranger's home anymore. Over the next few days, something unusual began to happen. Daniel started noticing Emily everywhere. Not in a strange way, but in small, comforting moments that slowly became part of his routine. One evening, when Daniel arrived home late from work, he found Lily sitting on the porch steps laughing. Emily sat beside her, helping Lily draw colorful chalk hearts across the driveway. "Dad!" Lily shouted excitedly. "Look! Emily showed me how to draw butterflies!" Daniel smiled tiredly but warmly. "Those are pretty impressive." Emily stood up quickly, brushing chalk dust from her hands. "I hope you don't mind," she said. "Lily saw me outside and asked if I could help." Daniel looked at his daughter's bright smile. "Actually, I'm glad you did." Little by little, Emily became part of their evenings. Sometimes she brought homemade cookies. Other times she simply sat nearby while Lily practiced riding her bike. She never pushed herself into Daniel's life, she just quietly made it brighter. Then one evening, as the sky turned orange with sunset, Lily suddenly asked a question that made Daniel's heart stop. "Emily," Lily said innocently, "why don't you have kids?" Emily hesitated for the first time. Daniel noticed the pause. "Well," Emily said gently, "sometimes life doesn't go exactly how we plan." Lily nodded thoughtfully, accepting the answer. But Daniel saw something deeper in Emily's eyes, something sad she was trying to hide. Later that night, after Lily went inside, Daniel spoke quietly. "You don't have to pretend everything's okay," he said. Emily looked at him, surprised. Daniel gave a small understanding smile. "You noticed my life for 7 months," he said softly. "Now, maybe it's my turn to notice yours." Emily looked down at the quiet street, her fingers gently wrapped around the warm coffee cup. For a moment, she didn't speak. The evening air was calm, and the soft glow from Daniel's porch light stretched across the driveway where Lily's chalk drawings still covered the ground. Finally, Emily took a slow breath. "I was supposed to have a family once," she said quietly. Daniel listened without interrupting. "A few years ago, I was engaged," she continued. "We had plans, a house, kids, everything." She smiled faintly, but it didn't quite reach her eyes. But life changed very quickly. Daniel felt a familiar ache of understanding. "He left?" Daniel asked gently. Emily shook her head. "No," she said softly. "Cancer took him before our wedding." The words settled heavily in the silence between them. Daniel looked down at his hands. "I'm sorry," he said sincerely. Emily shrugged lightly, though the sadness remained in her voice. "For a long time, I didn't know what to do with my life after that. Then I moved here. I thought maybe a quiet neighborhood would help me start over." She glanced toward the house where Lily's laughter echoed faintly from inside. "And then I met the two of you." Daniel felt something shift in his heart again. "You didn't really meet me," he said with a small smile. "I ignored you." Emily laughed softly. "True. But I could still see you." Daniel looked toward the front door where Lily was waiting. For the first time in years, the future didn't feel empty anymore. He turned back to Emily and said something simple, but honest. "You know, tomorrow morning." Emily raised an eyebrow curiously. Daniel smiled. "This time, I'll be the one bringing the coffee."